There is a reason people say that truth is stranger than fiction. The world is full of incredible, weird, and downright strange things. So, in this new series, we will present to you some of the weirdest and strangest facts that we can find. If you like true stories of the macabre, strange, and paranormal, then please click on that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you can be notified every time a new episode of Grim Events is uploaded. Without further ado, I give you weird facts from around the world. There's a company that turns dead bodies into an ocean reef. For those who romanticize a burial at sea, the company Eternal Reefs offers an innovative solution. It mixes cremated remains of a person with concrete to create a pearl onto which loved ones can etch personal messages, handprints, or leave mementos. The pearl is then encased in a reef ball that is dropped into the sea, where it provides a new habitat for fish and other sea life, helping encourage a vibrant ecosystem, the circle of life at work. Vacuum cleaners were originally horse-drawn. One of the earliest known vacuum cleaners was so large that it had to be hauled from house to house via a horse-drawn carriage. Its giant hoses were popped through the windows of customers' homes, and a gas-powered motor generated the suction that pulled the dirt and debris into a glass container where onlookers could gawk at the volume of filth coming from their neighbors' homes. Sounds like so much fun. Spider webs were used as bandages in ancient times. In ancient Greece and Rome, doctors used spider webs to make bandages for their patients. Spider webs supposedly have a natural antiseptic and antifungal properties, which may have helped keep wounds clean and prevent infection. It also is said that spider webs were rich in vitamin K, which helps promote clotting. So, the next time you're out of band-aids, just head to your attic and get some webicillin. You're more likely to get a computer virus from visiting a religious site than porn site. According to research from security firm Symantec, religious websites carry 3 times more malware threats than pornography sites. Symantec found that the average number of security threats on religious sites was around 115, compared to adult content sites, which carried around 25. In fact, only 2.4% of adult sites were infected with malware. The researchers hypothesized that that's because porn sites need to generate a profit, so there is a financial incentive to keep them virus-free to encourage repeat business. The inventor of the Pringles can is now buried in one. In 1966, Friedrich Bauer developed the ingenious idea for Procter & Gamble to uniformly stack chips inside a can instead of tossing them in a bag. Bauer was so proud of his invention that he wanted to take it to the grave, literally. He communicated his burial wishes to his family, and when he died at the age of 89, his children stopped at Walgreens on the way to their funeral home to buy his Pringles burial can. They did have one decision to make, though. My siblings and I briefly debated what flavor to use, Bauer's eldest son Larry told the Times. But I said, look, we need to use the original. Friedrich Bauer, an American classic. A human could swim through a blue whale's veins. The blue whale is the largest living creature. It's even larger than most dinosaurs were. The biggest blue whales are over 100 feet in length and weigh more than 100 tons. Their hearts alone can weigh 1,300 pounds and are the size of a small car. Unsurprisingly, blue whales have enormous arteries, which pump blood to their massive hearts and into their vital organs. These arteries are so big that a fully grown human could swim through them. Not that you should try it, though. A hippo's bite is as strong as a grand piano falling on top of you from a 3-story building. Despite their docile look, hippos are one of the most deadliest creatures on Earth. Their massive mouths are filled with sharp teeth and tusks and are capable of exerting the same amount of pressure as a grand piano falling from a 3-story building. The huge animal can also sprint at speeds of 25 miles an hour. Dead people get goosebumps. Dead people often get goosebumps. This bizarre phenomenon occurs once rigor mortis sets in. This makes the muscles of the body contract and stiffen. This same contraction applies to the tiny muscles attached to our hair follicles and creates what we know as goosebumps to occur. Left-handed people are 5 times more likely to die in an accident involving a power tool. Left-handed people are 5 times more likely to die in an accident involving a power tool than their right-handed counterparts. This is due to the fact that most power tools are designed by right-handed people for use by right-handed people. King Henry VIII exploded in his coffin while waiting for his grave to be dug. King Henry VIII suffered perhaps one of the most embarrassing burial ceremonies for any British monarch. During the ceremony, his corpse exploded due to the buildup of gases in the hot sun. To make matters worse, the mess was cleaned up by stray dogs. South Koreans have a superstition called fan death, where if you keep a fan on too long, it will kill you. The history of the origins of this myth is even darker than the superstition itself. When people committed suicide and the coroner had to determine the cause of death, they would say it was death by a fan. This was to save the face of the family and to prevent shame. Scar tissue is constantly in repair, and a lack of vitamin C will eventually cause old scars to reopen. While scar tissue may seem like a permanent fix to an old wound, it is instead your body's constant repair of the harmed area that keeps it closed. Your body relies on vitamin C for this process, and so a lack will result in scurvy, which will cause old scars to reopen. A smallpox sample was found by the CDC in a disused storeroom. The organization hadn't known it was lost until it was found 6 years later. So rest assured that you are not alone in your sometimes dangerous forgetfulness. Some of the biggest institutions in the world suffer from the same human negligence. A vial of smallpox vaccine was lost in a CDC storeroom for over 6 years and was only discovered by accident. In the wild, koalas typically die from starvation. We often mistakenly believe the demise in nature comes from the hands of disease or a predator or even humans, but so often the truth is far crueler. Case in point is the koala. The animal's death from old age comes not from succumbing to illness, but rather due to its teeth wearing away and it dying from starvation. Deer were once so common in Michigan that their skin was used as currency. If you've ever wondered where the term a buck, meaning money, comes from, the answer harkens back to a time when deer ran rampant over parts of North America. The animal was so common that their skins were used as currency, and thus was born the phrase. Before toilet paper was invented, Americans used to use corn cobs. Alternatively, they also used periodicals like the Farmer's Almanac, which was designed with a hole so it could be hung in outhouses. Necessity is the mother of invention after all. Doctors' sloppy handwritings have killed thousands of people. Research shows that doctors' handwritings is to blame for over 7,000 deaths in the United States alone every year. Always make sure to get your doctor to recheck his prescription before filling them, just to be on the safe side, because apparently one wrong letter can cause disaster. Pigs will eat a human body, including bones, leaving only teeth behind. In 2012, an Oregon farmer went out to feed his animals and didn't return. When his family went to check, they found his dentures and parts of his body in the pig enclosure. More recently, in 2019, a Russian farmer collapsed during a seizure while feeding her pigs. Her husband found her remains the next day, as she died from blood loss after the pigs began biting into her face, ears, and shoulders. Dentures in the 1800s were just weird. In the 1800s, people needed dentures just like they do today, but they didn't have access to our modern technologies. Instead, dentures at the time were actually made out of teeth of deceased people, usually soldiers. More than a nightmare. Few people know it, but Wes Craven got the idea for A Nightmare Before Elm Street from a real story, published in the LA Times, of a boy who suffered terrible nightmares and actually ended up dying in the middle of one. As Craven said, he told his parents he was afraid that if he slept, the thing chasing him in his dreams would get him, so he tried to stay awake for days at a time. When he finally fell asleep, his parents thought the crisis was over. Then they heard screams in the middle of the night. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of a nightmare. Well, there you have it, folks. 20 random weird facts for you. So tell me, did any of these surprise you? I can tell you one thing, I'm going to make sure that my pharmacist can properly read my doctor's handwriting from now on, just to be on the safe side. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.